Hello and welcome to your class today. So we're starting out sitting in simple cross legs Sukhasana. I'm sitting up on a brick here. Now if you need to have more height than this, you can always put foam pads underneath your brick. If you've got no equipment, then just use blankets or something underneath the sitting bones to enable you to release the thighs down. So once the knees are beneath the level of the hips, you're going to pull the flesh of the buttocks out and back. So here we're coming more onto the front of the sitting bones, more onto the gluteal crease, and if you're sitting on a brick, you can feel that a little more distinctly than if you're sitting on a soft support. Roll your shoulders back and down. Pin back with the outer tips of the shoulders, move the abdomen back, move the ribs back and lift your chest. Just breathe with this newfound extension and length that you have in your torso. Breathe into the space that you've created. Now we're going to stretch the arms out in line with the shoulders. So we can do this together. Extend out into your fingertips, open out in the shoulder joint and create that space in the shoulders. Let the shoulder blades release down. Keep the facial features soft. Now you're going to rotate the arms at the root and then on an inhalation through the nostrils, extend the arms up by your ears. Stretch into your fingertips, draw the shoulder blades down towards your back waist, keep your ribs back, keep your abdomen back, keep breathing. Bring the hands together and bring them down into the prayer position. Thumbs come into the base of the breastbone. Again, pin the outer shoulders back. Use your thumbs to lift the base of the breastbone and move the abdomen back towards your spine whilst extending the spinal column up towards the ceiling. Allow your eyes to close and just let the breath come into its own settled pattern. Breathing through the nostrils. So just let the body settle. All of the soft tissue fibre, all the muscular actions, just let that settle back down again now. After your next exhalation, let the head release down. Release your hands, palms face down onto your thighs. Lift your head and lift your eyelids. Okay, well done. So we are going to use a belt and a couple of bricks. If you don't have a belt, then you can always use a dressing gown tie or something like that. See if you can find something around the house that will enable you to make a loop that's about just over a foot long, so probably about 35 centimetres, 14 inches long. You'd want to loop that dimension. And if you don't have a couple of bricks, you could use books or rolled blankets and a chair. Alright, so just get bits and pieces assembled if you don't have a yoga kit. We're going to start in a slightly wider Tadasana than we would normally use. So the belt is going to go around the shins and we're going to press firmly out to that belt. So if you're using a tie that you're tying up here, then you need to have your feet hip width apart. So you have to possibly stop the video while you get everything into alignment. Now get your toes so that they're pointing directly forwards. I have to move my toes manually to get them into that position. You may find that your toes go automatically in that position if you've got good yoga feet. So press down into the outer edges of your feet, push out to that belt. The belt needs to be quite insistent on your calf muscles. So it's not just there balancing as a decoration, you're using it to push out to as though you're trying to break that belt. Lengthen your tailbone down, lift your breastbone up, push firmly down into the outer foot bones and stretch down with your fingers. So with this action, your legs should feel a little more lively. We're going to interlock the fingers and take the arms up into Parvatasana. So have the right little finger on the outside, make a fist, get the pits of the fingers right to the base, turn the palms, flatten your palms out, go back into your legs again, push down into the outer foot bones, lift your kneecaps, lift your thigh muscles, inhale, extend the arms up. So watch that your ribs don't pop forwards when you take the arms up. If you've got a very flexible lumbar spine, you'll want to push your ribs forwards. So your frontal ribs have to stay back. Move the upper arms towards the ears, flatten the palms of the hands, keep the sides of the neck soft. So don't tense in the sides of the neck, don't hunch your shoulders up. Keep breathing through the nasal passages. When we take the arms up, it's very energetic on the body, so we need the breath for this. And then release the arms down. Eventually this pose comes to help things like handstand, Adho, Mukha, Virasana. So we need to get these actions, arms straight. So interlock the fingers in the other way. Really get that action of the fingers interlocking. Turn the palms, keep the fingers interlocked, flatten the palms, draw the arms away from the shoulder socket. And on an inhalation, take the arms up. So inhaling through the nostrils again. Try and train yourself to use your nasal breath when you're doing your asana work, your yoga poses. Pushing down again into the outer foot bones, tailbone long, chest lifted up, frontal pelvic bones lifted, kneecaps lifting equally, thigh muscles lifting strongly, upper arms moving towards your ears, but keeping the softness through the neck. And releasing the arms down. Well done. Okay, so it's quite hard. You may find that you've got a little bit of markings on your calf muscles, which is fine because, sometimes we have to work a little bit harder. So I'm going to show you how we're going to work in this action. We're going to take the heels up onto a brick. Now, if you have problems with your balance, you can have your hand onto a chair or onto a sofa back or onto a wall here. We'll take the left foot out and step forwards with the right foot. So we're going to get this length in the tailbone, the strength in the back leg, and lifting up. Then we're going to stretch the arms out in line with the shoulders. And I'm going to move because I'm too close to the wall. So when we do this together, I'll be moving a little further this way. Okay. So heels up. Now if you don't have a brick, you could put your heels up onto a book, onto a foam pad, onto a rolled blanket or towel. It's just to get a little bit more lift and length in that back leg heel. Put your hands onto your hips. If you need to have balance, then have your hand onto a wall or something. Doesn't matter if you can't take both hands out. Turn the left foot out slightly and step forwards with your right foot. So this has to be quite a nice wide stride. Now once you've stepped forwards, then you use your hands to turn the pelvis so that the pelvic bones are equally facing forwards. The back leg tends to get a little left behind in this, so you've got to push your heel into that brick and move the back leg thigh muscle to the bone. At the same time, weight down with your tailbone and lift up with your frontal hip bones. Roll your shoulders back and down, lift your chest and let the shoulder blades release down. And breathe. Okay, releasing, stepping forwards and walking back to your brick, and we're going to go to the other side now. So both heels up to start with, turn your right foot out, big step forwards with your left foot. So you might need to wriggle that forwards a little bit more to give you a nice wide stride. So again, we have to think about this back leg. Front thigh moves to the bone moves to the back thigh, and then this area here, your tailbone, needs to become long. The hands are used on the pelvis. Can you see how the pelvis wants to turn this way? So we have to direct it back towards the narrow side of your mat. At the same time, don't forget about your back leg. You can put your thumbs here into the two dents in your sacrum and just push that area forwards, and that will have the double benefit of lifting your breastbone up. And then lengthen your tailbone, push into your back legs, and lift your frontal pelvic bones. Now if you've got a strong stretch here, well, good, because that's what you're meant to be feeling with this action. Okay, so bend the front leg slightly to step forwards and coming out of the action. So we're going to do that again, and this time we're going to take the hands up in Parvatasana, which is what we've just done in Tadasana. So I'll just show. So we're going to step forwards, interlock the fingers, turn the palms, and take them up. Okay, so let's do that one. Heels up, left foot out, big step forwards with the right foot. Now use your hands to turn that pelvis around, so we're getting used to the idea that the frontal pelvic bones are even. Lengthen down with the tailbone. Try not to grip too much in the buttocks, but again, move the front thigh to the thigh bone to the back thigh. Lift your chest, interlock the fingers with the right little finger on the outside, turn the palms, inhale, stretch the arms up. Now, if the balance is an issue here, take the hands down and put your hands onto a chair. If your back is not comfortable in this action, then bring the hands forwards a little and lean your body, your torso forwards a little until you can come out of that discomfort. If that still doesn't alleviate it, then bring the hands down and place them back onto your hips. Release the arms down, hands back onto the hips, bend the front leg and step forwards. Okay, other side. So coming back, heels up, turn your right foot out slightly and step forwards with your left foot. Tailbone, leg, this back leg has really got to be active, and lift here in the frontal pelvic bones. Make sure that you've turned your pelvis so that it faces towards the front. Interlock the fingers if you're able to. Left little finger now on the outside. Stretch out into the knuckles, turn the palms, inhale, and take the arms up. Fine inhalation, fine exhalation. Release the arms down and bend and stepping forwards. Okay, so we're going to do once again, this time we are going to take the arms out to the side. So I'm just going to show again. So we're getting this action, we're turning the pelvis and we're stretching out. But we're going to add into it this action that we did at the beginning with the hands coming down into the Namaskar asana. Again, if you have back issues with this, you can lean the torso a little bit forwards. It's usually because there's tightness here in the front of the pelvis that there's a back problem with this. So it's not really dealing with the problem, but we can, as you work through all of your yoga syllabus, that area here becomes a little bit more flexible. Okay, so standing on your brick, roll your shoulders back and down, turn your left foot out, step forwards with your right foot. So draw up the front leg, kneecap, thigh muscle, keep this back leg strong and straight, turn the pelvis. Now, if you have your balance, you stretch your arms out. If your back is not comfortable with this, then lean forwards a little or keep the arms out in line with your shoulders. Otherwise, turn the arms at the roots, stretch into the fingertips, ribs back, abdomen back, extend the arms up, breathe through the nostrils, bring the hands together and bring them down into the Namaskar asana. That sacral region has to plug into the body. Okay, put your hands back on your hips, step forwards, walk back, and we'll go in the other side. So turn your right foot out, step forwards with your left foot. So we've got to get the breadth and broadness on this gluteal crease on the back leg. Tailbone long, frontal pelvic bones lifted, roll your shoulders back and down, stretch your arms out. Breathe. So we have to also remember that the big toe on that front foot is important in these forward facing actions. Has to be in contact with the floor. Rotate the arms at the root. Inhale. Stretch the arms up. Bring the hands together. Keep that back leg firm as you bring the hands down into the Namaskar asana. Hands back onto the hips and bending to come forwards again into a Tadasana action. So this time we're going to take the feet together and we're going to use a belt to come into Urdhva Hastasana. So have your feet together, unless you have a back problem, in which case you can take them slightly apart. Your belt is going to come onto your wrists. Now you can see here that if I bring my hands out in line with my shoulders, my wrists and elbows and shoulders are all approximately the same distance apart, and I'm pushing into that belt. So on an inhalation, we're going to take the arms up. So inhale, palms facing one another. Stretch the arms up. So push into your belt. Make sure that your ribs are not poking forwards. Front ribs to back ribs. Abdomen towards the spine. Frontal pelvic bones lifted. Kneecaps lifting up equally, both sides. Thighs lifted. Breathe, let the shoulder blades relax down your back ribs. They have to glide down those back ribs. Fine inhalation, exhalation, push to that belt. Push even more to the belt. And again, even more to the belt. And then release the arms down. So starting out, sitting back on your heels. Now there shouldn't be any discomfort in your knees in this pose. If there is, then you need to make alterations. Either you do the alternative, seated onto a chair, or you put some supports in between your bottom and your heels. So that might be a bolster. It's quite a nice way to work. I do work myself like this sometimes, with head onto a brick and a bolster there, just to give a little bit more height. Sometimes the head needs to be raised in order to keep the buttocks back onto the heels. And this pose should give a nice breadth and opening to the lower back. So the area of the lower back just around the back of the top of the back of the pelvis, the sacral region. Just feel that opening and broadening. Keep the elbows lifted off the floor, keep the wrists lifted off the floor.